On a dull, overcast morning, Brother Grey took a break from the grim darkness of the far future, for the grim darkness of DungeonQuest. A 1,000 years have passed since the evil wizard Fearsome fell, but men still fear to enter his dark fortress of Dragonfire Castle, which squats grim and brooding atop Worm's Crag. In the villages that huddle in its shadow, stories are whispered of the fabulous treasures which fill the castle's dungeons and of the things which guard them. Old men draw closer to their fires and tell of the noises which echo across the valley at night, when the castle seems to take on a malign life of its own. Few indeed return. Their eyes are troubled, and they are reluctant to tell of their adventures. None has ever returned after nightfall. The sorry soul who would be venturing into the castle's dank dungeon this time was Volrik the Brave, a local scoundrel with questionable values. What started out as a drunken bet between friends had apparently got out of hand. Volrik certainly needed the coin. He had gambled away his family's fortune in the local tavern and loaned money from a renowned barbarian named Ulf Grimhand. The only way to pay off his debts, keep his family and his head, he thought, was to loot the castle's ancient dungeons. He never really was that good at solid life choices. Grog bolstered his bravado as he strode nonchalantly forward into the dungeon.
That's not good.
He immediately triggered an ancient trap. A knot of poisonous snakes fell onto Volrik's head.
I don't like snakes.
As Volrik reels from the shock of the writhing serpents, he fails to realize that one has fallen down the back of his shirt. Before he can shake it away, it buries its fangs deep and inflicts 2 damage.
Ouch, that hurts!
The sun rises slowly from the east, the luxury of 2 paths before him. Volrik chooses to head north. As he steps into the next room, his foot catches an old timber, and it slides forward into a rotten load-bearing beam.
Bloomin' hell, I'm so clumsy!
The roof collapses.
Ouch!
And a swarm of nesting vampire bats are disturbed from their slumber, attacking Volrik as he cowers among the broken timbers. He manages to avoid damage this time, and checks to see if he can free himself from the mangled wreckage.
I'm not going to turn into a vampire now! I'm not sure this was such a good idea! So far, all I've got is traps and horrible things attacking me. I think I'll go this way.
Volrik's resolve was unshaken. There was no stopping him now. The previous adventurers were simply not as skilled or brave as he was.
What is that horrible smell?
Another room beckoned him, but as he approached, he was hit by the slaughterhouse stench of rotting decay. Volrik slowly picked his way through the rotting corpse's possessions. There was no doubt about how this adventurer had died, owing to the huge spike sticking out of his head. His left arm was hacked off at the elbow.
I think I'm gonna be sick! Oh, look! A rope!
Grim task forgotten, Volrik was excited to have found a simple rope, something which any intrepid adventurer would never forget to bring on such a quest. He slung the greasy ichor sodden rope over his shoulder and strode forward once more. An empty corridor. Finally, he could gain some ground.
Why do I feel like I'm being watched?
Yet another. Maybe the worst was behind him.
I bet this next room is full of riches. I'll buy a new sword, my own turnip.
As Volrik excitedly ran into the room, a heavy portcullis came down behind him with a thud.
Bloomin' hell, that almost hit me.
He stumbled as he turned to see his escape route blocked. Volrik was not known for his physical prowess, and he would need to find another way out. In the chaos of the moment, Volrik had not noticed the mountain troll looming over him.
Oh crap! You're a big boy, aren't you?
Volrik's first thought was to evade, but the ancient portcullis paid heed to that plan. The troll grinned menacingly as it raised up a large knurled club.
Don't eat me, troll! I'm all scrawny and full of gristle.
The troll, although a very dangerous foe, had been in a state of hibernation for some time. It was a little on the lean side due to lack of adventurers stupid enough to take on the dungeon of late. He could not believe his luck when this hapless wretch stumbled in front of him. He could hardly wait to chew through all that gristle. His favorite. Malnourished, the troll struggled to swing his huge club with any malice, although he did manage to connect with the scrawny human a few times, hurling him through the air, sending him crashing into nearby barrels like a rag doll. Volrik's life flashed before him. It wasn't a pleasant sight. If he didn't do something quickly, this would be the end of him. He lunged forward out of sheer desperation.
Ah! Oi, you forgot to give me 1 damage too.
He ran towards the troll, tripping over his sword as he did so. It sprung out from beneath him and buried itself in the troll's left ankle, slicing into the flesh and carving out a small chunk of bone. The troll wailed in anger and turned about to grab hold of its lively lunch. Volrik, bolstered by his success, pulled the sword from the troll's leg, sliced across at the other ankle, severing the tendon and dropping the troll to its knees. Avoiding the troll's attempts to grab him, he ran around to its rear, jumped up on its legs and buried his sword deep in the troll's neck. The troll fell limp and slumped to the ground, its club rolling from its hand across the stone floor.
I can't believe it! I killed the troll! Wait till they hear about this down the Broken Oak!
Battered, bleeding, and alone in the darkness, Volrik strode on. Another room, another portcullis slams down behind him. He braced for what may be lurking for him in the dark. Nothing. Should he search the room? No. The morning sun will be well on its way. He could not afford to dawdle. Not when he was surely so close. Could his luck finally be changing? Volrik picked up the pace. The longer he lingered, the less likely he would have time to escape this foul place. An empty corridor. His senses told him he was heading in the right direction. He lit another torch and moved on.
Oh no! I think I've sobered up!
Another corridor. It wound to the right. But Volrik's heart raced as surely he was gaining ground on the fabled treasure chamber. His grip tightened on the hilt of his sword. The corridor led into another room. He braced for combat.
Come at me, bro!
Nothing. Had he defeated all that the dungeon had to offer?
I can't believe it! I'm so close! I can taste that gold! I'm gonna be rich!
The air was thick with the heavy scent of brimstone. The next room had 3 exits, but the left one seemed the obvious choice. He ran forward and almost tripped over a dismembered limb.
What is it with this dungeon and dead adventurers?
The irony of that question sadly lost on Volrik's tiny brain. This one had been here a while, its mummified, limbless corpse desiccated by the ravages of time.
That's a nice satchel.
As Volrik put his hand into the dried husks satchel, he was met with a sharp pain in his right hand. He quickly withdrew, and a large red scorpion scuttled away into the darkness.
I'm not feeling too well. I've gone all light-headed and the room's spinning.
Volrik regained his composure and remembered the ring of healing. He had borrowed it from a drunken sailor's finger one night at the Broken Oak. Their late-night lock-ins were legendary, and quite fruitful for anyone that stayed sober long enough. He slid it onto his left hand's mid-digit, and a warm, tingling sensation took over his body. His blurred vision clearing, he rubbed his eyes. 2 tall, ornate pillars either side of a large stone door greeted him. This was it, the treasure chamber. As Volrik entered the chamber, he was met with a sight to behold. Atop a mountain of golden trinkets lay a slumbering red dragon. Volrik stood aghast. As his flickering torchlight slowly passed around the room, he could see naught but golden treasure and twinkling gemstones. Quietly, he scooped up 2 trinkets, eyes fixed on the dragon. Volrik's heart was racing. He needed to collect as many spoils as possible if this venture was to be worthwhile. With each attempt to gather loot, he risked waking the dragon. Judging by the scorched walls and baked carcasses strewn around, this was a common event. The dragon's nostrils flared as it drew in a deep breath, and Volrik felt the oxygen level drop in the chamber. Thankfully, it had not yet detected his presence. As the dragon stirred, rivers of golden coins cascaded towards Volrik.
I could buy a whole garden of turnips. I'm rich! Rich beyond my wildest dreams.
He drew to him 2 more handfuls of treasure. This was almost too easy.
I could buy a turnip factory. Buy the Broken Oak. Live like a lord.
The dragon lay still as night, as still as death.
I'm sure he won't miss a few measly pieces of treasure.
Volrik took a second to compose himself. He was losing track of time. He could leave now and try to get out alive, or grab more treasures and change his life forever.
With just a little bit more, I could buy my village or even the town. A castle even. A castle and fields of my very own turnips. I could live like a king.
Always the chancer, he stuffed more trinkets into his trousers.
I'm filthy rich! I've done it! I can pay off Ulf and buy back all my family's possessions! I'll return a hero! Children will be named after me! I'll have the pick of any bride I want! I'll have turnip soup for breakfast! My own turnip chef!
The dragon stirred. Small plumes of smoke rose from his nostrils. Volrik watched them waft up to the ceiling of the dungeon and slowly dissipate. He thought he saw a giant eyelid flicker. It was time to leave. He had pushed his luck far enough for one day. He slowly backed away from the treasures. It took all the strength he could muster to not stay just a little bit longer. But even Volrik knew that his luck was running thin. He held onto the trinkets to stop them from rattling and eased himself back out through the stone door. The goblin strikes from behind without warning. Its blade sings as it strikes a golden goblet tucked away in Volrik's shirt. A close shave.
Thief, gives me them trinkets, or I'll boil your scrawny bones into broth.
I'd better bravely withdraw.
Volrik errs on caution and withdraws back into the dragon's lair.
So much gold must resist.
He chooses not to search for treasure this turn. Instead, he sits and does nothing. Time passes. Volrik peeks out of the chamber once more. The goblin, or was it an orc, is nowhere to be seen.
Those green skins all look alike to me.
He fears that the darkness will be upon him soon. He must hurry. He steps over yet another adventurer's corpse, but has little time to examine.
I can't remember this dead adventurer being here before. What kind of hellish place is this? Gives me the creeps.
Volrik reaches the end of the corridor, but there's no need to enter the room with the portcullis. He turns right.
I'll never get through those bars. I should have worked out more.
Another great room. 3 more options. He could really do this.
Maybe I've scared all the monsters away. My reputation is already preceding me. Come on, Volrik, my son. You can do it.
Another great room. He can almost taste the fine ale and warm turnip soup. Suddenly, panic set in. Had he overestimated the time he had left? A quick calculation shows the error of his ways. The walls seem to close in as realization dawns on his forebrain. A cold bead of sweat runs down his brow. He prayed to the gods for more corridors.
Oi! You forgot to draw a room card. You just can't get the staff these days. Come on! Almost there, almost there!
The ground makes a funny clicking sound. Volrik takes an arrow to the knee.
Ouch, that hurts!
As the sun starts to set, Volrik's choices are becoming few. He will go right to give him more space.
This isn't going too well.
Not a sorely needed corridor. Another room, another portcullis slammed shut behind him. No matter. Volrik only had time to head one way. The pressure plate clicked underfoot. Volrik would need to be agile when he released the pressure, or else fall into whatever horror lay below.
Here goes nothing. Oh, pooh!
Maybe if his movement wasn't restricted with all that loot, he would have made it. The floor gives way, and Volrik falls into the spiked pit. On the plus side, all that gold stuffed into his clothing acts like armor of sorts. he takes minimal damage. Fortunately, he still had the stinky, blood-soaked rope from the dead soul he looted on the way in. He ties a man's femur to one end and lobs it out of the pit. Once snagged, Volrik hauls himself out of trouble. Dusting himself down, it was on to the next room.
I got a bad feeling about this.
To his horror, a death warrior, there in the shadows. It stood there, motionless, dark magic surging through its bones. What was once a mighty warrior was now reduced to a shambling, rotting marionette. Is this what fate awaited him?
I never signed up for this. I think I've soiled my trousers. Again.
The sheer affront of becoming one of these things sent shivers down Volrik's spine. He had come too far now to be stopped by this nightmarish abomination. With all his might, Volrik charged the warrior. His eyes were filled with rage, his purpose resolute.
Volrik Jenkins!
Two perfect hits decapitated the death warrior, its body collapsing into a pile of bone before him.
No stinking animated corpse is going to get between me and my turnips!
A large, foreboding oak door stood before him. He tried the handle. It was stiff. He gave it a good wrench. It opened. Volrik could sense he was close. He could taste the fresh air. He just needed some corridors.
Oh no! Oh crap, I think I'm lost! Where am I?
Volrik stepped forward, tentatively. The room was empty. Its exit turned mockingly to the left. The wall in front of him was damp and thick with lichen.
I'm at the castle wall! There has to be a way out here, surely!
It was too late. Another wrong turn. Another empty room. It was as though the castle itself was conspiring against him. Suddenly, the sound of bolting doors and dropping portcullis filled the air. 100 footsteps rang out among the flagstone floors. The garbled chattering of 1,000 freaks echoed through the corridor.
Oh crap! Please! Help me! No! This can't be real! Help! My turnips! My nips!
A bone-chilling silence falls across the dungeon once more. Another adventurer joins its eternal quest for souls. They each have a story, hopes, dreams. They all share the same greed. They all share the same fate. Volrik's torch sputters as an inky black darkness consumes him.
Hello? Am I dead? Who's there? I want me mum! Oh crap!
Back him up
Let me see him. Is he still alive?
He's alive, just like you asked.
Excellent. How much coin did he steal?
6,230.
Keep it as payment for services rendered. Take him down to the galley.
You! No, wait! I'll give it back!